You're watching SBA Today. With all the latest news, stories, and advice, here are your hosts, Paul Long and Tanya Mazurek.
And welcome to SBA Today, sponsored by SBA Collective for the week of January 27th. I am Paul.
And I am Tanya, and I'm not letting Paul get started before I tell you what he did to me right before we started. Okay, so it goes to countdown. We get ready. What does he like to do to me? He freaking yawns in the camera right before.
I don't understand.
And I'm like,
what's the problem?
And I have no time to get my yawn out. And I'm like, and he's laughing. Yeah, y'all see what I have to deal with my brother from another mother? Anyway.
Well, hey, there's actually quite a bit that's kind of going on. Nothing super sexy, but definitely some interesting stuff. First and foremost, though, we're counting down the days to Friday. And you know what? Possibly.
I wish I didn't.
I know. I think it's going to happen, is what my crystal ball says. But my crystal ball also says that it's not going to be 47 days or whatever the heck it was last time. That's what I think. And I hope it's just a week at most. Yeah. And that's it. But yeah, it's scary because everyone's kind of in panic mode. We all, as SBA lenders, do the exact same thing. Oh my God, what's in my pipeline? Can we get that in E-Tran now? How about this? How about this? And try to jump ahead of it, etc. But remember, we all need to be good SBA citizens out there too, to make sure that we're not just throwing E-Tran authorizations out there when loans aren't necessarily, not saying done, but let's at least get them underwritten. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go real controversial here because no one talks about this shit.
Hey. Oh man, do I want to talk about this? No, I don't yet, but some of the E-Tran errors, right? They may be normal errors, I guess, in a normal situation, but some of the errors that come back, such as, okay, I'm going to say it, such as refinance of another bank's SBA debt. If you're doing a high loan, Paul, have you had this happen? Uh-oh, are you there?
No,
okay.
I'm here.
Okay, if you're doing a loan and the full loan amount is $5 million, right? That's the full aggregate amount for a 7A loan. But you're refinancing, let's say, $1 million or more of somebody else's SBA debt. Have you put it in E-Tran where it comes back and E-Tran says you're over the aggregate amount in this moment in time to get an authorization number?
Interesting. I have not had anything that high, but it wouldn't surprise me because
it's a moment in time. You put it in the box and it's a moment in time for E-Tran, so you get the error. It is an error.
They probably have to manually correct it on the back end. So what do you do? What did you do?
Well, it's still in process, but the three options you're given, the three options that you are given, which in a normal time frame, guys, when we're not going to shut down, when you have freaking 2 more days, might be acceptable. But in this time frame, it's a little challenging, right? So they give you the 3 options when you reach out. You can do a bridge loan. Well, in ordinary times when you got lots of time, maybe. Okay. You can do a bridge loan and pay off the other party's debt prior to, and then you can get the authorization number for the full amount. You can drop your guarantee amount. You can drop the guarantee amount. You can drop the guarantee amount and all this fun stuff, right? Go through the process and try modifying it after the fact to get the rate back up. Okay, right? Or you can ask the other bank that's got the SBA note to put in a paid in full prior to getting paid in full.
If I got a call like that, I would laugh them completely off the phone.
Those are the 3 options, right? And it's already kind of interesting. So it's probably, it's interesting, but in today's environment, it is devastating.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's devastating because you can have a perfectly good loan and that can mess you up, right? So it's putting the bank taking all the risk,
Interesting.
holding a note, blah, 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 blah. So,
That's
you do what you got
interesting.
to
And
do
then
to
you
help
got
the borrower, but think about the whole ramifications because you got a shutdown, let's say. Let's say that thing goes however long. You've got to
that's
hold that note. You've got to
you're
try to
toast.
get the increase. Then if you sell on secondary market, you got to wait to sell. And those investors aren't looking for, so
Yeah.
oh yeah. It's an
That's
interesting
interesting.
thing. It is. It is. And it's something that I want to talk about down the road a little bit different on just some of those that, in an
Interesting.
ordinary scenario, maybe not be as painful because you've got time to deal with it. But in a scenario such as this,
Yeah.
it can hurt somebody. So anyway.
Interesting.
Admit?
That's an
Yeah,
interesting
it's crazy.
spin.
I'd love
But
to get other
hopefully
people's opinion out there, y'all. Put it if you've seen that one or any of the others right now that typically wouldn't be the biggest problem, but in a scenario like this creates a problem. We'd love to hear it, right, Paul?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody
Absolutely.
would. Anyway, keep going.
Well,
All right.
we had the SBA Connect call,
Mhm.
which was this last week, and always good information. Love jumping on those calls because, again, I'm a nerd. So for some of our servicing people, we have a new universal purchase package. UPP is now out. I took a look at it, and it looks like a UPP. So I'm sure there's just a quick little updates to it, but nothing really.
PUP? What? The PUP. PUP?
It's the
PPU?
UPP. UPP.
I know. I know. If you forget, though, you can say PUP and just rearrange those dadgum letters.
Yeah. Okay. And they dropped something. Tanya, were you on the call at all?
You know what? No, because I was dealing with some errors.
Oh, got it. Okay. This was interesting. If you guys were on it, there was some there was some underlying comments that I picked up on, which is there is some new cool technology that will help us as lenders this year on SBA. So they're working on, I think, some E-Tran updates. That's Paul's opinion. But I think there's some things they're trying to do there to make it easier. And that'll be very interesting. And there's something I'll discuss later that may be even more interesting, but we'll see how that goes. Right. They, discuss some of the updates to the SOP, like removing the geographical expansion, like what's reasonable mileage or reasonable whatever. That was removed, and they gave some great examples of why they did that. Mainly because of manufacturing types of jobs and that type of stuff. So, I mean, you could have something in, Seattle, Washington, and you want to expand in, Boise. How does that work? And that would be considered an expansion now.
Nice.
The under 350 removing of the SBSS score, that was very interesting. So, and I totally get why they got rid of it, because it created score and go. Right. That's exactly what it was, because if you had a good SBSS score, you didn't have to talk about the business, do debt service coverage, do this, do that. Well, that's score and go, if you ask me. Right. And so if they're trying to remove that, they're now requiring that debt service coverage is done on every single loan. And thank you, SBA, for that. Thank you. Right?
Agree. Come on. Who isn't doing debt service coverage? Why would you do that?
But I'm very glad that they did that. And that makes sense. But here's a new addition that I want to make sure people understand for loans under $350,000. You must have 2 months of commercial bank statements. Let me repeat that again. 2 months commercial bank statements. This is a requirement now.
That's interesting.
But what they really didn't say is a couple things. One is, okay, I got the statements. And what the hell you want me to do with them? Right? Am I looking for something? Do you want me to do some calculation? No. It's
They just want
I have two statements.
Okay,
And
wait. You know where I find the problem? Yeah. I mean, come on. How many of those are they're startups? They haven't opened a freaking commercial account yet.
That doesn't apply. Or for example, like a change of ownership. It doesn't apply if you're doing like an asset sale or something. But if I'm Paul's Plumbing and Paul's Plumbing is applying for a business, I know, yeah. But if I'm applying for a business loan, I need to show my 2-month statements. Okay. So that's a big deal. But that was asked in the chat, and I do invite everyone to rewatch that. And Coleman always has those recorded on his YouTube channel. Yeah. So heads up, it's a great place to go. But they mentioned that, hey, you should be looking for merchant cash advances.
What? Oh, in the okay, got
the statements. But here's the problem. And one of my great team members mentioned this. Okay. Usually merchant cash advances, they take the money out before they deposit it in your account. So what is it going to show?
Well, maybe,
right?
Wait, because maybe
humor me.
Well, what other loans or what other things come in that are daily? Maybe that
you get your merchant services usually daily, right? But you don't know if that. So yeah, maybe you'll see like, On Deck or some of these other types of
that you recognize, but there's some that I wouldn't recognize as the name or what it is or something like that.
Well, see, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure, but I think there's going to be some more coming to that, because I don't like asking a customer for something, and then once I get it, I just have it to have it, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. So,
come on, Paul. It's SBA. We do that a lot.
Correct. Exactly. You know what? They're looking for OnlyFans. That's what it is. Okay.
You did not just go there on air live, right? Well, first I'm going to ask Paul. Why are you talking about
Thank you again, Morgan, for
putting in the disclaimer. The views expressed
in the show are not those of our employers. Okay, very good. Thank you. Let's keep going.
Oh my God.
Also, February 11th is the first, what I'm calling it is the underwriter call, which is the 7A Connect for 7A lenders, but it's mainly driven towards staff members. So it's more of an SBA training call for lenders and underwriters, and I know I'm going to have my team on it. And I look forward to seeing what they go over and help with that. So I think that's pretty cool. Okay. And last but not least, to come back to my story at the very beginning about that new technology.
Oh, yeah.
I think the death of the 1919 is near. What?
No, nobody likes that idea.
But I think and this is Paul's opinion, they did say that they're going to go paperless on the 1919.
Okay.
So I see that as you go into eTran, this is Paul's opinion, of whatever system they're doing, that you put in some basic information, they get emailed, and then they log into the SBA system. That way they're answering the questions, on the SBA system, and they're e-signing the 1919 through the SBA system. That's my opinion, because how else are you going to do it? Humor me, but
I see issues with that, Paul.
Oh, I see a lot of issues with that, but keep going.
Borrowers don't always know how to fill out those daggum forms. How many times have you gotten a 1919 back and you reach out to them and you're like, you put yes on this. Is that, do you really have this? And they're like, oh, I thought that meant something else.
Yep. Question 6 for the packaging fee is always missed. Yeah. What happens if it's not 100%? Or what happens if you have Bob Smith,
Mhm.
who Bob Smith does not like computers, does not trust computers, does not want to, everything's by hand. What does that look like? So
Mhm.
I love the technology piece because it helps in some ways. And I'm sure our friends at SBA are super smart and they've thought through some of this and that they've talked to lenders. But I look forward to whatever this may be. But is there going to be growing pains? Oh, yeah.
That
You're
really is. That, I mean, I can just see how that can go so south because so what happens if, you know how you have, let's say the big banks of the world, I know like the Chase banks and stuff like that. If somebody
Mhm.
fills out an application online and they say the wrong thing, oftentimes that's the death of it right there. There is no going back or changing your mind
Mm,
after the fact and saying, I made a mistake. Well, maybe it wasn't, it was BBV Compass. This happened with me. Um, that was it, right? Once you submitted
yeah,
it, then
yeah,
their interpretation was if you go back to change it, it's because you're changing it for whatever reason, blah, blah, blah.
sure.
But mistakes happen, right? And we
Mhm.
oftentimes catch those prior to getting it to the SBA
I
or the
agree.
borrower.
But again,
Hmm.
there was very little information given. This
Okay.
is the opinions and views of Paul and Tanya. But let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see what happens.
Well,
So,
we need some updates because I'm sorry. There's some things on there, blah, 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 specifically in E-Tran that, you know,
right. I
might.
mean, I'm still using a typewriter, guys. I'm kidding.
Can you guys go and change now the one box that says refinancing another institution's SBA debt to? Can you change that to create the negative aggregate of that since we're paying it off, which is the intent?
Clearly, Tanya has
Can
been
you?
really involved in this specific deal for a while.
No. What,
Yeah.
pipeline? What pipeline? I don't have a pipeline. I'm just dealing with
Yeah.
what? No, I'm kidding.
None. That's
All
right.
right, guys. All right, now, moving on. So SBA came out with the 2025 annual review, where we kind of go over some of the bigger interesting facts that happened
Yep.
this past year through 2025. So SBA's impressive amount of actions. Here we come. 90% of the headcount in the SBA DC came from last administration. Paul?
Right. So that was interesting that 90% of the headcount came from the
Mhm.
previous administration.
Yeah.
And it sounds, I mean, yeah, I mean that they needed more bodies. And I think a lot of them went away too this last year. But that's interesting. I did not really know that fact. What else?
90% of SBA DC employees worked from home a year ago. Well, now we all knew that because they made everybody come
Yeah.
back in and created. But you know what? Here is the thing with that. A lot of institutions made people come back to work from remote
Agreed.
positions.
Agreed.
So,
Yep.
we can't just point fingers at one thing
Correct.
or we'd be
100%. This
pointing
is
it
not
at a
a
lot of
political
people.
show.
Nope.
We're just in a political program.
Yeah.
Yep.
SBA reduced its workforce by 54%. Who did not feel the squeeze and the pain of that one?
Everyone has to feel that. Absolutely. And I think they're still
Especially
kind
right
of
now.
working through that. And I get efficiencies. Like I get that.
Yeah.
I have a universal purchase package that I've been waiting on now since July. Come on, like it shouldn't be that long.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Yep.
Is what it is. Closed 19 SBA offices, which housed either 0 or 1 full-time employee, or which had never interacted with a small business. That's interesting.
That was an interesting fact. I don't know where those 19 were. I would agree that if there was no employees or 1 employee, perhaps that would make logical sense.
Right.
I'd like to learn a little more about that. Is what is a
Well,
takeaway. Maybe I'll Google that when I'm bored.
exactly. I think that could be kind of interesting, actually, because what I'm thinking
Yeah.
is if there was 0 or 1, even if there was 1 in there, whatever area it was in, does that take away their support in that area, or do they move that person more to a remote type situation? I don't think so, since they made everybody go back in. Or does that mean now that location has to go somewhere else to get the support that they need?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Interesting. Okay. Reduced active credit cards from 195 to 6. Okay, this one's really.
I know.
Reduced active credit cards from 195 to 16. Now, there's more. Cutting agency credit card spending by 54%. Do those numbers in your head.
I agree with you. Like, that was interesting.
Like, huh.
And how does somebody, I don't know how those 16 were chosen. I'm assuming it's the topper brass. But how there's still purchases that need to be made. And I'm curious, because I remember when they shut them all down. Do you remember that? It was like, I don't know. I think it was about a year ago. And they shut them all down, and it sounds like they turned 16 back on, but I don't know.
Well, you know what's funny with that too? If you really kind of consider or think about it, it's 16. So they cut 195 to 16. Now do the math of that percentage wise, but yet spending only was cut by 54%. So those
how much 16, is the top brass spending?
Those 16, not even double, not even triple, not even quadruple. Keep going up, right? What is 16 into 195? I don't know, Mr. Data Nerd. You go ahead and give me that. I'm just looking at it going, those numbers don't really.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut down my wife's credit cards, and I'm going to see if it also decreases spending by 54%.
No, I think what's going to happen is we're not going to see Paul on here. And when we do, he's going to have some bruised eyes. And
that is correct.
You get him, Mrs. Long. Anyway. All right. The agency eliminated nearly 800 individual phone lines that failed to serve small business interests and launched a single phone number for all SBA services, 1-800-SBA-HELP. Paul.
Interesting.
That
was the one last week. I actually looked that up. That is correct.
Yeah, exactly. We even had it on there. We got to hear what happened. All right. Additionally, SBA is actively pursuing. Wait, let me go back to those phone lines. Good.
I know, right?
I have a business phone line here, guys. I don't use my business phone line ever.
Oh,
ever.
Same here.
I
couldn't even tell you the phone number.
Right? It's everything,
Yep.
Anyway, okay. Additionally, SBA is actively pursuing a more robust relationship with other agencies, including the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, DHS, to cross-check SBA loan applicants with outside databases for citizenship, criminal history, and other infractions indicating unsuitability. The agency is further working with the U.S. Department of the Treasury to pursue potentially billions in stolen funds that could finally be recovered on behalf of American taxpayers.
What I read through this is maybe we can remove like Cavers and Sam, and there's some more integration within the system. I mean, that would make sense to me. We're not going to talk about the
left hand actually know what the right hand's doing.
Correct. I mean, I know this is the government. But I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
Well, definitely. And then the pursue potentially billions in stolen funds that could finally be recovered, blah.
We beat that dead horse.
I was going to say, I would love for that to happen. I think even if they go after them, even if they do what they do or whatever, it's going to take a heck of a long time to recoup what was lost. So it's unfortunate, but it's true. All right. Community Advantage Small Business Lending Companies, SBLC. The program generated a 7% default rate in 2024, more than double that of the overall 7A loan portfolio, leading the agency to issue a moratorium on the expansion of the program. Okie dokie, Paul. David.
I had no idea that it was a 7% default rate. And that's a really good reason to maybe put some brakes on that. Now, keep in mind, again, those are very small loans. And if you take the small loan portfolio, you are going to have higher than normal defaults. But 7% is pretty meaty. 7% can take out a bank. Right?
Oh, heck, yes. Quickly, too. Shall we think about, who was it that Bay first shut down? We're
not talking about that. But yeah.
But it
Anyway,
they can. I mean, that
I know
anybody knows that oftentimes the small loans are higher risk. Now, there's multi reasons for that, but sometimes it's because it's the first thing that a business owner has gotten into. They don't really know what they're getting to oftentimes and whatnot. So their level of expertise or level of knowledge or level of wherewithal, that type thing, isn't often, and I'm not saying all the time, at the level of somebody that's been in it for a while, larger loans, that type thing. I don't know. Would you agree with that,
Yep,
Paul?
I would agree with that.
All right.
Yep.
Anyway, okay. The SBA established the Office of Faith to ensure faith-based organizations receive equal access to disaster assistance. That's different, people. And all SBA loan programs based solely on documented loss and repayment ability.
There was a lot in that sentence that I'm like, one, I didn't know anything about the Office of Faith. That was interesting. Yes, they should receive disaster assistance, and all SBA programs.
That's the one that I'm like, that's the one that I was like, huh.
Based solely on documented loss and repayment ability. Oh, who knows? I don't know.
What other SBA loan programs they be talking about, huh?
Correct.
I don't
Thank
think
you.
they're talking about 7A. I don't know that any faith-based can get a 7A card.
And all SBA loan programs. I'm just reading it like an SOP, okay?
I hear you, but have you heard of any
no
faith-based
sure
SBA
not.
7A loans?
Yep.
I haven't. So I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, Mark, SBA has approved $3.5 million in new revolving lines of credit in the program's first full 2 months. I am so ready to put that name aside. SBA has approved $3.5 million in new revolving lines of credit in the program's first full 2 months. That's wow. Okay.
I would like to know how many lines that was. That very well. I'm just saying.
It's one.
Don't lie. It could be one. Exactly.
It's
anyway,
one.
Whatever.
Okay. Whoever did that one loan, go ahead and comment. We're kidding.
It was mine.
No, I mean that's kind of it's exciting. I'm glad it's a great program. You know. Anyway. So what is next? The SBA's role is clear. Ensure that private capital reaches eligible entrepreneurs quickly, fairly, and with disciplined oversight. Okay. Fraud investigations will aggressively continue nationwide with criminal referrals, recoveries, and permanent suspensions. And improving SBA technology. I am so glad they're actually going to look at improving SBA technology, because it's no different than, let's say, our road systems, right? Like, think about our infrastructure across. If you don't consistently put money into and change and upgrade and whatever the infrastructure falls apart, which means everything around it falls apart. You see it all the time. Correct. This is the same basic thing. Put some money, right, that we're giving others, put some money into the infrastructure so that it makes it easier on everybody else for us to get these loans out to others in a more timely and better way.
Regardless of your political lines, SBA was freaking busy this year, and they really did a lot of different things. And I kind of look forward to seeing what the next year comes. You know, some I like, some I don't. That's kind of like life, right? But for the most part, I think what they're doing is, they're trying to modernize SBA, and I applaud that.
I'm okay. Look, I've got this thingy in front of me. So if you see me do this, it's because of a freaking little, I don't know, fly thing. Anyway, no, I think that they did, to be honest, way more good than not. I think
Agreed.
I'm really, and in such a challenging atmosphere, people don't understand, right? The people behind the scenes, the people, not the position, not the title, not where they work, anything like that. The people behind, they have gone through it. Whether it be they stayed or they left based on any of that fun stuff. They've had friends that they were in uncertainty this whole time. And can you imagine living? I mean, we all have been, but that's some intense uncertainty. If you don't even know where your job is, where your livelihood is, what's next, who's next. I mean, to me, thank you, SBA, for everything that you have done this past year, because you people behind the name SBA. We so freaking appreciate you. Anyway.
Amen. Let's close this out. We went a little long. Actually, we weren't really long, but keep
Sorry, guys. Not sorry. Okay. Live Tuesday mornings here on LinkedIn and or YouTube. Otherwise, find us on your streaming platforms, wherever you get your podcasts. Go check out our past episodes and or our sister show, the BDO show, which they're doing a pretty good job these days. I'm liking it. I like seeing them. Anyway, follow Paul or I on our LinkedIn pages. Reach out if you've got any topics you'd like us to discuss and or just message us because, hey, say hello. Interact with us, whatever you want to do.
That's right.
Enjoy your week. And if nobody's told you, we really appreciate you. Come back next week and we'll see you later. Peace out.
See you later.